Am I pumped for the Cardinals off season? Yeah, I actually am. I am, to answer your question.
Okay, all right. I hope so.
Are you?
Like,
You don't sound like you're so sure.
Well, look, I just hope the front office is, to be
They're
completely
pumped.
honest. Like,
They're pumped,
they
baby.
Pumped? Are they primed to make some moves this time, Right? They should be, at least.
Well, you hope.
We know that they need pitching help, and you got to think they're going to be active in that market. One of the more active teams in the market there.
Yeah.
But where does their big pitcher come from? Because, you got to get an ace somewhere.
Right.
Where does that come from? Free agency or a trade? Tell us your thoughts at 875 KTGR.
But let me start by this, though. Do you think one is enough? Or does it depend on who they get as that ace?
Well, I mean, you're talking about one ace?
Basically, could you get away with an ace if it's a true ace, and then some Miles Michaelis-y kind of guys after that, or some Steven Matz-y kind of guys after that,
Yeah,
number 3 and number 4?
One headliner, I think, is fine.
Okay. But does it depend on who that headliner is? Who qualifies, I guess, is my question.
Sure. I guess so. All right. Yeah. If you're talking about, is Sonny Gray in that category?
That is going to be maybe the question of the winter, Andy, because I think the Cardinals are going to sign him. If you had to put my feet to the fire, I think Sonny Gray is who the Cardinals are going to sign in terms of their most prominent free agent acquisition. People want Yoshinobu Yamamoto from Japan. Reports, I'm not even going to say reports. I know The Athletic did a series where they kind of did a contract projection. It's based on some data. It's not just a guy going, I think he's going to get paid this. But they had that north of $200 million for a 7-year contract. So we can basically go $25 to $30 million per year for Yamamoto. Remember, even if you're willing to pay him that, is he willing to sign with you for that? Is also part of this equation that John Mozeliak has to work. The next name, if we're going to tier it, I would rather have, for the Cardinals, Yamamoto than Aaron Nola because of age. I think you can say Yamamoto's going to be in his prime for the next 6-7 years over the life of that contract, and you can be very confident in that. Aaron Nola is on the other side of 30. Would he qualify for you, though, Andy? I would say yes, even though you look at his regular season numbers this year, not as strong.
I'm putting him in that category of, if you sign him, the other signings don't have... Makes up a lot in the aggregate if you sign Aaron Nola.
And I think the part about him that's so nice is you can trust the workload. Because there are other guys in this tier, in this price range. Blake Snell is an example. Unbelievable stuff. And the second half that he had was ridiculous. I think he struck out 230 guys. But injury history. Are you going to be able to count on those 180 to 200 innings? I don't know if that's as much of a certainty. It's never certain, but as much of a probability as it is with Aaron Nola. Similar tier in terms of talent, but reliability will go the trade route. Tyler Glass now. 1 year, something like $20 million is what he'll be owed for the final year of ARB eligibility. I think the Rays are going to trade him because I don't think they want to pay him. Why? You'd say, well, he's such a great pitcher. Durability. 120 innings he threw this year, Andy. I think that's the most he's ever thrown. And so if you're the Cardinals, can that be the biggest splash that you have if you trade for him? Probably not. First of all, it's just a 1-year commitment. Secondly, what are you going to get innings-wise from him? John Mozeliak has talked at the GM meetings in Arizona this week about the volume that's going to be necessary for the rotation. It's not just getting a stud guy who can strike out a lot of dudes. Volume of innings. They've got to have these innings covered by more capable arms on the back end of the rotation than they did last year when Wainwright was struggling and when other guys were getting hurt and you just didn't have the depth. So for me, Sonny Gray is right in the crux, in the middle of all of this, because I think the Cardinals would like him. I think he might be open to joining the Cardinals, and I think they could get him because it's more their MO. 3 years, 4 years, maybe 5. Probably not. He's 34 years old. He's just it feels like a more Cardinal-like target, but he's coming off one of the best years of his career. Is he going to replicate that if you sign him for, I'm just throwing out a number, 3 years, 70 to 75 million? Is he going to replicate that for you? Or did you get a number 3 and you paid for an ace and didn't get one? That's kind of the crux.
Yeah, a hard line to walk. We'll see if the Cardinals can do it. 875 KTGR. call or text us. Is the big picture coming from free agency or a trade? Let's go to Paul on the KTGR hotline. Paul, what's up?
Yeah, Sonny Gray would be an F. That's a major mistake.
Oh, no!
I would go with, like I said a couple months ago, this left-hander, Eduardo Rodriguez with Detroit.
Okay.
Of course, you don't know if he wants to come here. But the reason I called in is what the Cubs did with Counsell. Okay, if you take – I want Brenden to rank these managers.
Oh, no.
Counsell, Mike Schilt, Skip Schumacher, and our coach.
Marmol?
Ollie Marmol.
Marmol, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I would go Schilt 1, Counsell 2, Schumacher 3, and Marmol 4.
Oh, boy.
And I think that's a big problem. And I just wanted to know what you think about that.
Oh,
all right.
Appreciate the call, Paul, here on the Big Show.
I hate Andy.
Do you want my ranking
Yeah,
real quick?
you give a ranking, and then I'll cop out.
Counsell 1. I guess I'd go Schilt 2.
Interesting. Okay. I hope we get a chance to find out more about him.
And I have a hard time parsing out between Schumacher and Marmol, because they're both less than 2 years of experience here.
Here's my thing with the question. I think Paul stumbled upon 4 pretty darn good managers in this question. So I don't think even if you ranked Ollie 4th, I don't think that would be a problem, because I think all of those guys are good managers. And I know that Paul doesn't think Ollie's a good manager. I know a lot of Cardinals fans are wondering, or maybe they've made up their mind that he's not. But I would say that Counsell universally is probably considered to be the best of that group based on the money that he got, right? He's got 5 years, $40 million. That's crazy talk for a manager, because we talked with Will Carroll. How much does the manager's role actually matter? There's some internal debate about that. I think Will thinks less of it than I do. I think it does matter, but I don't think it's like you have to be a great manager and a one-size-fits-all in any clubhouse. I think you have to be great for the group that you're managing, and that is a sign of a good manager who can know how to adapt to those things. I don't think that because the Cardinals lost 91 games last year that Ollie Marmol is a bad manager. I like Mike Schilt a lot. I think there are some things that he maybe hopefully learned about how he could do things differently to have everybody on his side maybe a little bit more in a future managerial role. I hope the Padres give him that chance, because I think he'd be great. I really do. Skip Schumacher, I think, was a smash for the Marlins. The Marlins are a dumb organization. If they ever think that they need to move on from Skip Schumacher, I'm going to be siding with the fact that they were probably wrong about that. I think he's sharp. So, Paul, to answer your question, I think all these guys are good managers, good to great. I don't even have a rankings, because I've covered Mike Schilt, and I've been in that office, and I've been in that clubhouse. I've been in Ollie's clubhouse. I can't speak as much to Counsell and Skip. I can to Skip from a coach perspective, but to how they manage their teams, it wouldn't be fair, because I have more insight to the behind-the-scenes workings of half that group than I do the other.
Yeah, and we'll see how they actually play out in their spots.
I think they're all good. That's my thing. Is I think
they're all worthy of the jobs that they have right now. I think is maybe not Mike Schilt, but he probably still deserves.
He could get the job by Friday with the Padres. We'll see. I haven't seen any news on that. But Andy, I know we got to get to a break. I think we're going to have a lot of fun, because I'm not asking you to agree with me about Ollie Marmol. I think you're sensible, and so you see some of the things that I see. But we could have a lot of fun this summer having those debates, because I don't think unless I see him change his ways for the worse, I don't think I'm going to be budging. And would another losing season really cause you to go, all right, I'm off this bandwagon? Could be a lot of fun.
Well, we'll see.
Could be a lot of fun. That's all I'm saying.
The offseason's going to be a lot of fun, I think, for the Cardinals, too. We'll see. All right.